Welcome back to Step by Step and part 2 of the vintage desk to boho desk. So when we last left you, I was working on putting on all of those paint inlays, and I had finished the top, and that's about where we were. So all of the paint inlays are done, and you'll want to make sure that you watch part 1 so you see how cool it is to work with these. And I had stamped them, so now I'm just kind of distressing my stamps and also the paint inlays just a little bit. So prepare yourself for a little bit of heartache. That's what I had to do. Just working on the desk, and I had a few setbacks. So first of all, take a lesson from me, and remember, whenever you paint with your drawers in, to pull them out while your paint's still wet. I kind of forgot that step this time, and I had to work with my drawers and also just a razor to kind of break that paint seal. So anyway, I get all my drawers out, and I am paying particular attention to the one in the middle because of the ink stains. But I am using some sandpaper and just cleaning up those edges a little bit. And on the tops of the drawers, I just want to have the drawers glide in and out easily. If you remember, we had a little trouble with the drawers, and we're going to fix that. So I am using Dixie Belle's sealer in satin. I used it on the top and also on the front. I continue to work on the drawers, and then tragedy strikes. My sealer made the ink run, so I had to repaint the drawers and restamp them. Since I had the paint inlay on the bottom part of the middle drawer, I just kind of had to work around it and paint over that one section. So I wasn't a happy camper. But be prepared, because it happens yet again. The one thing that I forgot while I was learning about paint inlays was that it is suggested that you do a half and half mixture of your sealer and then mist it on your paint inlay before you seal it, because of the fact that it's a water-based product, water-based paint, and your sealer being water-based, it can reactivate the paint. So, stay tuned. You can hear my little spritzer bottle struggling, and for whatever reason, my mister did not like that 50-50 mix of my sealer. I was using the Dixie Belle satin and water. So what I did was put it in a different kind of spray bottle and then put it on the lowest setting and then stepped back. So that did seem to help. But then I ended up having to restamp the top again. And like I said, stay tuned. It looked so nice, and I wasn't real happy, so I stepped away while it dried and turned my attention to the insides of the drawers, focusing on that one middle one with all the ink stains. So I vacuumed out all the drawers and also the inside of the desk as well, and used the TSP cleaner to make sure that we didn't have any residue. Not painting. I'm just going to revive the wood. So I realized while I'm doing this that my drawer is coming apart. So I have to take some time and glue that. Just using wood glue, and of course my glue's stuck too. Must be a low biorhythm day. Finally I get my glue out and then I clamp that, and I have to wait for that to dry. So then I use Big Mama's Butter in the flannel scent. And it's kind of just a scented wax, and it conditions the wood and helps the drawers to glide smoothly. So being a vintage dresser, there's no metal glides in there or plastic or anything. So I'm just applying it to all the wood where the drawers will glide. So after cleaning the insides of all the drawers, I do the same treatment on the insides and the side edges and the bottom of the drawers, just to help with that gliding. Now, being hot in summer, this Big Mama's Butter has gotten really very liquidy. So you might want to, not quite, but it's really, really loose in consistency. So you might want to store it in the refrigerator in the summer months. Just a thought. I put the hardware back on, and I forgot to mention that I did use Rust-Oleum's Antique Bronze to spray the hardware. So now the drawers slide in very easily. Now I'm using clear wax. And since I have spritzed the drawer fronts, I feel pretty confident about using that wax, and I don't seem to have any problems here. Now I distress what I restamped again, and here we go again. I begin to apply the wax on there because I've used it a lot all the time and trust it. Didn't think I'd have any problem. But here we go again. It is smearing again. Now, totally disgusted, I go back to the drawers and work on them a little bit. I use Dixie Belle's Boss in gray, and I just kind of pour it on and paint it on to the edges, and I'm just wanting to block that ink so that it doesn't come through. I'm planning on decoupaging that drawer, and so I don't want that ink to bleed through. Plus, it provides a nice light background for my decoupage paper. So I'll let that dry. Now I pulled out a Krylon matte finish in the can in a spray, and I am using that to see if I can stop any sort of movement on that ink. I am using Dixie Belle's Ancient Mud Cloth decoupage paper, and I'm trimming off the little border around there, and I'll be dry fitting it in the drawer and using my fingernails to crease it so that I know how big to cut it to make my impression. When I have it all cut, I use Dixie Belle's clear coat in flat, and I coat the bottom of the drawer, then I lay down the paper, and then I coat the top of the paper, making sure that I have it spread completely to the sides. Here we go again with the clear wax, and I have re-stamped the side, and I am very gingerly applying the wax, and I'm still seeing it run a little bit. So I'm just kind of calling it distressed at this point. You'll see how I proceed for the rest of it. Like, I was kind of in disbelief at this point. So the bottom seems to be okay. The paint inlay seems to be fine. It's just that ink does not like any sort of sealer or top coat. It was okay with that matte. I don't know whether I didn't coat that part good enough or what. But when I come around to the side, I do the bottom first, and I do around the frames, and then I just kind of dab at the stamped area very gently, and then I also wipe it back in much the same way. So I don't know exactly how long or forever it takes to set that ink, or what it takes to set it, or if it doesn't like being on chalk paint. I honestly have never had this problem before, so not exactly sure what happened there. But anyway, we're being very gentle with it now and making sure that it gets totally set. The drawers all go in easily now, and this project is finally a wrap. But I do think that the desk turned out really, really nice. I think it would be equally suitable for masculine or feminine, in my opinion, because it's not over the top floral or any type of designs like that. I just think it's kind of pleasing to the eye. Kind of boho. So if you like this content, I really hope that you'll subscribe and visit the description box for my Amazon wish list. And also, there's a super thanks button at the bottom. If you like this content, you can support my small business in that way. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like this video, how about giving it a thumbs up and also share it with your friends? If you haven't subscribed, you'll want to do that so you don't miss anything. Visit us at lavintagedecor.company, and on Instagram we're LaVintageDecor, and on Facebook we're LaVintageDecor Altoona. Stay well.